welcome. Welcome to the Light Express. My name is Lianne Bridges, and I'm here with Joanna McDonald, my partner in the Light Express show, which is a show to help people live with purpose and a healthy way of living. So today we have a real special event. We're coming up to 2014. We're at the very end of 2013. You can see by the snow out here. We're getting deep into the winter season here in the Northern Hemisphere. And we wanted to talk a little bit about what we see as potential coming in the year 2014. And to start us off with something really exciting is Joanna is a medium, and she is pulling some cards for us as a tool to help us kind of get some message from Spirit of what is really some of the main messages that they'd like to pass on to our viewers of what's coming in the coming year. As well, we're going to have a little discussion about what we think is some of the things that could help all of us manifest our dreams in the coming time. So let's get started, Joanna.
Yay, so exciting.
Yeah.
Brand new year ahead of us. Yay! Start fresh. I'm so excited to do this. I think this is a really good idea. We came up with this in the fall, and I've been waiting for it with bated breath and chatting with Spirit last couple of months on what's coming up. And I think there's some really, really exciting, challenging, fun things that are coming for this year. So I'm really excited to talk about it.
So you've already pulled a few cards just before we got on air. She pulled some cards randomly to get some message from Spirit, right?
I did.
You can't see the cards, they're right in front of us, but she'll pull them up for you.
Okay, so I'll start off. I was guided to pull 4 cards, just for the sake of time and efficiency. We pulled 4 cards. So the first one, as you can see, Doreen Virtue deck, the angel cards, is celebration. Hopefully you can see that one. Very apropos for the time we're in right now. The spirit of the season, celebrating ourselves. This was the main topic I got from Spirit when I was channeling this week and trying to find out a little bit of what was happening in this coming year. And Spirit, Gaia, Mother Earth, all of the elements of the existence that we live in, the consciousness that we live in, are really guiding us to celebrate ourselves, celebrate our families, celebrate all of the beautiful things that surround us every day, all of the little things, be grateful, really celebrate our authentic selves, and that means our real selves, the beauty that is within. So really, really celebrate your femininity, your masculinity, your children, whichever, wherever you are, whichever way you celebrate, really bring that into your heart now, specifically at the holidays, but all through the next year as well.
Excellent. That's really neat.
Yeah. And the second card that we were guided to draw is called self-acceptance. So I think when we celebrate ourselves, and actually the next phase into that becomes self-acceptance, we learn to love ourselves a lot more. We learn to celebrate the little things, the big things, everything in between, the time, the present that we're in right now. With self-acceptance comes a lot of celebration. So you don't have to worry about your faults and your, supposed bad traits and all of the rest of the other side, the things that we don't like so much about ourselves. It's more about celebrating the beauty of what is in the present moment. Okay.
Very nice.
And of course, with celebration and self-acceptance, the next step comes serenity. This is the third card.
It's amazing because these were pulled totally randomly.
Totally
right?
randomly, yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So of course, with the self-acceptance comes the peace within, comes the serenity of just being in the moment and enjoying, everything just as it is. There's no expectation. There's no disappointment. There's no depression. There's just the contentment to be right here in the moment right now.
I think about that even just like what we see, it's very cold and wintry out there. It's minus 30 degrees today. Yeah. And we could fight and resist it, but sitting here accepting it, there's such serenity in that feeling that there's a blanket of snow outside and we can just be calm and relaxed. It's amazing. So that message really resonates too with me.
Yeah, very peaceful.
Yeah.
Very peaceful. And the fourth card we got was playfulness. So of course, with the serenity, when sometimes we don't have to worry about little things and the supposed challenges in our life, we get to have a little bit more fun. And Spirit and God and the universe is really encouraging us in the coming year. We've had, since 2012, a lot of, upheaval, but a lot of changes going on our planet and our world and in ourselves. We've had some conflicts come to the surface and be released. We've had a lot of different changes go on in the last 2 years. Coming into 2014, I think it's a lot more time to play now. Gather what you have and just go out and not be so serious, you know, just we have a lot of things that come our way that are perhaps negative in our lives or in our news or in our circles, and we're being called upon to just have more fun and just really, which Lianne and I are doing today, which is fun for us, is to sit here and play and to chat with you guys about good things that are coming. So
that's great. So 4 key kind of messages, I guess, for 2014 is celebrate your life and its and yourself in its total entirety. Self-acceptance, be where you are right now and enjoy that, and move from there. You experience the serenity, enjoy the serenity, and kind of the playful twin of serenity is being playful. So being the calm and serenity, but also the playfulness of life, and that generates a lot of creativity in life as well.
Absolutely. One more thing I got from out of playfulness, another message Spirit came to me as well, was to explore your senses, step out of your comfort zone a little bit, with the intention that everything is fun. We sometimes go into things being fearful, or we go into things being like, no, I'm not too sure how this is going to turn out, or that might be difficult, or this might be hard. I challenge you, or Spirit challenges you to look at the other side of the coin as well, and really explore through new food, perhaps new activities outside. It's beautiful winter wonderland outside. Try something new, snowshoeing, maybe skiing if you're in the sun, surfing, skiing, wherever you are. Try something new to just really blossom, make your spirit come alive, and really just have fun with the inner child that's inside you.
So cool. So, yeah. You know, I was watching Canada M this morning, and Jeff does a segment on the internet, what he finds on the internet every day. And they had snow somewhere in the Middle East. I can't remember if it was Egypt, for the first time in like 100 years. Yeah. And so they had these full, grown adults seeing snow for the first time in their life and experiencing it. And they had this clip of this guy totally running head first into snow with his feet sticking up in the air. Like he'd never seen it before, but he was exploring it, and he's an adult. And it was just so much fun. And that's what we need to do, right?
Absolutely.
Not be resistant to it.
Yeah.
So that's all great. Thank you very much for taking us through that. One of the things that I have a sense, and we've talked about this a little bit, Joanna, is that as we're moving from the somewhat, some will say a little bit more difficult changing years of 2008, 2009, all the way through to 2012, as we moved into kind of 2013, we went from difficult to kind of, a lot of people are awakening to their life of trying to seek a life with more purpose, meaning, more health, and that type of thing. And it's kind of a natural progression as we start to say, okay, there's could be more, something's got to give, we can do more. Then we start to seek, and we see all through Facebook the signs of, be the change you want to be in the world, and all these fantastic intentions and positive signs. And what I'm starting to see is that there's an opportunity for people to move now beyond that, to actually be that change. It's one thing to be aware of that they want to be it, and they want to move into it, and they set the intention, but then it's sometimes how do you do it? How do you get into the being and the doing what they want to do? And you mentioned to me before about how really there's a very dualistic kind of approach. Maybe you can share that with our viewers about how we see that.
For sure. Well, we're all born with duality. We see duality in our planet. We see duality in light and dark, sun and moon, dark and light, mean and happy. We see contrast in positive and negative in all aspects of ourselves, of our planet, of all the people we run into. It's part of the way the universe is designed. A lot of times I've heard a lot of people say, well, don't live in duality anymore. You have to just be your happy self. And as a result, all of our supposed shadow side gets repressed, and all of these natural emotions that we are as humans, that we've been conditioned to believe are really, really bad to display, are actually really good tools for enlightenment, for personal growth lessons, for helping other people learn and grow. So by suppressing them really isn't doing anybody any favors. So I think we're getting to the point now where we're embracing both sides of the coin. We're embracing the sun and the moon. You can't have one without the other. You wouldn't know the sun if you didn't know the light and the other side, lightness and the darkness. So by duality, that's what we're talking about when we say duality, is that everybody comes with both sides of the coin, and it's up to you to decide how you'd like to display both of those sides for your best authentic self and the life that you want to live for yourself.
That's really great. And I think also is when we think about moving from kind of seeking, where we've gathered a lot of information, it's kind of analogous to going through school. We've got all this knowledge and information. Now we want to step out into the world with it and make those changes. We hear a lot about law of attraction, setting intentions. But without an awareness of some of the, what we call maybe the shadow sides, the things that get us stuck, it's hard for us to move through, right? So we have to bring those shadow sides to light, to understand them, to realize how that could be stopping us from moving in the direction that we want to. One of them, I guess, is kind of, if we talk about shadow side, is acceptance versus resistance.
Absolutely.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I think that would be the first, you hit the nail right on the head. I think that would be the first step as far as, going towards your goal and actually activating or putting that plan into motion. Is the first thing is acceptance of yourself right where you are, or whatever you perceive that to be. The opposite of acceptance is resistance, and vice versa. Whatever we resist, as my friend Dr. DeMartini says all the time, what we resist persists. So whatever you're resisting in your life, I thought to myself one day, I was having a little bit of a challenge, and this same pattern kept coming up over and over and over again. And I thought, well, what's the opposite of resistance if I just kind of kept pushing it away? What would be the opposite of that if I just wanted to get past this issue? And Spirit said to me, acceptance. And that's what it was. It was just accepting as it was. I didn't need to fix it. I didn't need to find a solution. I didn't need to go and buy something. It was just a matter of me saying to myself, okay, I accept the situation exactly where it was. And then poof, all of a sudden everything started to flow again. All this energy just came right through me, and it was like I kind of surmounted a hurdle, if you will, to just accepting me who I was. And also the accepting the, like I was talking about before, accepting that shadow side of ourselves. I think it's a really good part of ourselves, and I encourage you to embrace that shadow side, because I think it's very enlightening to know all aspects of yourself, and through that shadow side you will learn your light as well, and that's what you're able to share with everybody else in the world. And it's so crucial to learning the light, is you have to learn the opposite as well. So those are all benefits to you, integral parts of yourself that you can't ignore.
That's really important, because we do often get stuck on, I had planned, I wanted to do this, I wanted to have the perfect relationship or perfect body, the perfect work or whatever, and then we're not there, and so we kind of even almost give up before we start. And so if it's accepting where we are, I know that with my book that I'm writing, I've written it from A to Z, but now I'm in editing, and I kind of get stuck, because it's like, I should have finished this a year ago, and I need to get it out there. But it's just accepting that it's taken this time. That's okay, and having compassion with yourself, and saying, okay, then what next, And I think the next step from getting from there is really a vision, is really getting clear.
Absolutely.
Now we hear that a lot, again, in kind of self-help and things on the internet we read is about vision, and you see vision board. What's really important is to make sure that you're clear on what you want. You may have 50 things that you want, but over the next short term, what is it that you want? What are the one or two things? And that's what the clarity is, because we do, a visioning board is great. We can create what we want in our perfect relationship and everything. But what often we get caught in is that we have 10 things that we want to do, and we can't do them all. We can do them all over time, but not all at once. So it's really being clear on, if there's one thing I'm going to do next year, that is what I want to accomplish. And the other things are secondary. You'll be much more likely to succeed if you plant that seed there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you mentioned before as well, when we were having a little bit of a discussion on how you create a plan, a yearly plan for yourself. I think that's a great idea on, laying out the different months and different workshops and different, courses that you're going to do and trips you're going to take. And how does that help to solidify the vision coming true for you when you actually map it out on a calendar like that? How do you find that's a really good tool for you?
Yeah, absolutely, because otherwise you're going from thing to thing. And first, by deciding what is your key priority or priorities for the year, and recognizing that doesn't mean the other things don't happen. So if you say, this year I'm going to take a trip to Cape Cod, but I really wanted to take a trip to Bali. Well, Bali could be 2 years from now, but Cape Cod is this year. And so you plan, but I'm going to do Cape Cod. And so you make, you create the plans that, I'm going to save a certain amount of money. I'm going to book ahead of time. I'm going to, do those types of things. If you don't, you are like kind of a paper cup in the wind. You're going from one thing to another. Oh, I said I wanted to go to Bali. I haven't done this yet. And oh yeah, but okay, put that aside. It's Bali's a couple of years from now, that type of thing.
Don't you find that sort of when the guilt and all these feelings kind of creep in? It's like, oh my God, 2 years have gone by and I've really done nothing. And again, we're back to the acceptance. If you keep the acceptance in mind of, yes, I'm human, yes, I make mistakes, or I think I make mistakes, or that everything it depends which way you want to go. You can say, yeah, well, everything happens for a reason. I'm right, I love myself right where I am, and I'll, continue to plod along as I go, and just really accepting yourself and having a really good vision of where you are goes a long way to actually creating your reality.
Absolutely, and also helping in the prioritization and planning together, because what you can say, if, for example, you want to start a new business, and right now it's really about, your first step is going to be to work less, maybe 3 days a week, but starting a new business may be in a year or two from now. If you're thinking it's going to be tomorrow and you're kind of fixated, that's hard. But if you have it in your kind of plan, it's over there. Okay, you can kind of put it aside and doing the steps towards that. So, we talked about acceptance and then creating kind of vision. One of the elements of vision that's really critical too is making that decision, and decision relates to what's your priority, and then committing to it. And, we often get into a lot of self-talk and so forth about, oh, we can't do it, I don't have enough,
excuses.
and excuses and that type of thing. It helps to plan it out, but I think it's also, next step is a little bit about letting go, letting God in, and letting
absolutely
listen.
Just totally, like Lianne was mentioning before, or just most recently, we have these grand ideals about, this fantasy of how this A goal or B goal is going to turn out, and then once we get to that actually manifested reality, oftentimes life will get in the way, and it doesn't look exactly the same as what our intended vision was. Well, nothing ever does, because our fantasy will create the perfect situation where nobody's talking, everybody's in a good mood, everything's just crystal clear and absolutely gorgeous scenario. But all of the players that we incorporate into our life to teach us various lessons will show up in our life depending on what's in our self-talk, and oftentimes we get into a little bit of a depressed state because our current reality doesn't match our fantasy version, and there's a gap there between like what our expectations are versus what is actually reality. And that's, I think, where the perfectionism and the sort of the shadow side of the planning, and when you're holding on to a specific way of should be or has to be in this little box reality, you're really limiting yourself to what could be. I mean, the universe is very infinite, full of ideas, and it's very important to listen to spirit, listen to your heart, be in your heart space, also working with your head, but really listening to the messages that are coming from you and from the people around you, not, taking everything and taking things with a grain of salt, but more listening to your heart and really listening to what you want out of life, and going, step by step in that direction, as far as, just really, really opening your heart and your mind to your true voice and your true, self.
I can think of so many times where I've had this idea that it has to be this way, like, I want this client to be this way, and I've asked for abundance, and it comes maybe not even from a client. It has a neighbor who's helped me out to rebuild some part of my house, and I thought, oh, you know what, maybe I didn't have to work as hard to earn the money to pay for that, because this person helped, and then there's a whole other element of connecting with someone else. All this abundance is not defined as X number of dollars, which I expected from this client that would get me to that. And so when we open up, it's amazing. And listening to the signs is so important, and I find for me is going out into nature. That's where I get my signs, and journaling is another way that I get the signs, and I'm on the right path. I love tools like the cards and that type of thing.
It's so funny. I just have to share with you what's going on here. It's pretty miraculous, but I just heard from Spirit say to me, allow with ease and grace, let go of the expectations, and just off to our right here, I just looked out the window, and there's actually a herd of deer just in the woods beyond us, and there's 3 or 4 of them in the woods. I can see them moving over there. And the symbol for deer, the animal totem, is actually that, ease and grace. So pretty, thank you.
That is amazing. You know what? I have not seen deer here in about 5 years.
Yeah, I can see I think there's at least 3 of them over there in the
Wow, that is so incredible. Oh my God, that is so cool. I didn't know that. Cool. That is fantastic. So another element that I find that really helps a lot when we're trying to move into being what we want and doing what we want to achieve in our lives, moving from kind of the seeking mode, is finding support. And support comes in many ways. It's not just people. It's first understanding, what is it they need? Is there certain knowledge you need? Maybe you've already amassed that knowledge. Is there certain tools you need?
Yep.
Is there people that you need to attract into your life? Are there support networks for you? One of the things that I see often people kind of get derailed is because they're around people, their friends and family, who are well-meaning, but often tell them they can't do something. Absolutely. It's never going to be. But once they get into a group of like-minded, poof, amazing things happen.
Yeah. How do you, just for example, how do you manifest people like that? What do you think about, or what's your system for attracting people like that?
That's a good question. I think often for me is I try to create that in a way that if I see that there's not a group out there that I want, I create the group. So that's how I created the Awakening Cafe. Was kind of making a long story short, was I had a book club that I was involved with, and I really wanted to talk about more spiritual type of things. And I just created more of a spiritual book club that then turned into the Awakening Cafe. And
so it started with you. You created that reality to match what you were feeling inside.
That's right, creating the vision.
Yeah, exactly.
And then making a plan.
Exactly.
And then kind of accepting where we were, and then actually drawing that to me. But not everyone has to create their own thing. There's often a lot of support out there. I mean, you go to meetup.com, is one of the greatest websites for anything you want. If you like spirituality, or you like you want to learn about e-commerce or whatever, you can find like-minded people that do that.
It's so much easier, I find, too, because you can easily, you may agree with me, you can easily get caught up in what I like to call a martyr syndrome. A lot of us carry this, I could say, archetype, like Carolyn Mace would say, of, oh my goodness, I have to do all this by myself, there's no support, I don't know how to do this, I'm kind of wandering aimlessly by myself, when really, anything we want in this world, positive or negative, or whatever your perception to be is, positive or negative, you can attract any situation, anything that you want into your life, right? So you can create it, or you can call it in. There's really no boundaries anymore. You don't need permission. You don't need anybody's, say so or whatever. If you want the reality, you know what's in your heart, then you can create anything you want, any way you want.
For sure. Yeah. I find also for me, is it maybe a bit ego, but I want to do it my way. So it kind of is like, okay, you can attract partners, like I did with you, but there's a lot of compromise. Okay, this is how I envision it. How do you envision it? So there needs to be, let yourself have room for that kind of compromise. And it's amazing when you do that, the creativity that comes out is so much stronger.
Absolutely.
The other thing I find is that what I see so much in clients and other people today is a scarcity mentality. And so when you think about getting support, one of the things that comes up is, can I afford it? So for example, I can spend hours and hours on my home cleaning it, gardening, that type of thing. Or I could do the work that I love, that brings, hopefully meaning, and allow other people who that work is important to them, allow them to do it. But, the first thing that comes up is, oh, I can't afford it. But then when I realize, actually, money is energy, let it flow to those people who want it and need it. And then money will come from another perspective. And I really think that's key, because often we just get down to dollars and cents, I can't afford it, as opposed to saying, you know what, it's going to enable me to do the things that I need to do in the world.
Yeah. Well, one of the, as we picked the self-acceptance card before, I think one of the things I was just going to say on that topic is really getting in touch with, what your fears are, what you think your blocks are, what you think are holding you back. Really get in touch with the things that you're telling yourself, and this is what I teach in a lot of my workshops, is what are you digesting yourself? Are you telling yourself that it's not possible, and why? I mean, you might get to the point, I think our consciousness getting to the point where we're all awake now, we're all, like you said, in the seeking mode, but to move beyond that is to really face yourself and discover, perhaps why you're saying to yourself, well, I don't have any money, or I can't do this, or there's not enough time. Is it, a fear-based, or I'm not too sure what I'm doing? I think what the point of today, what we came to is, it's easier when you know. So when you got a plan and you know yourself and you're confident and you come from it from a really victor perspective, rather than a victim perspective, I think things are a lot easier, and you just can surrender and you can have faith in that God will fill in the blanks forever. But as long as you have a plan, that's all you have to do is just make the decision. It's so there's a mentality that it's going to be really hard and difficult, and yes, a lot of us have grown up with that the things are hard. You got to work hard for money. You got to work long hours to make money or a good salary. Not true. It's all about your belief system, and if you think it's going to be easy, and all you really have to do is just decide, this is what I want to do, this is my idea, and let God fill in the blanks. It's that simple.
Very cool.
Very simple.
That's great.
Yeah.
So just to summarize kind of what we heard from Spirit for the 4 things to kind of move into in your life is really celebrating your life in all its aspects with all your senses, mind, body, and spirit. A self-acceptance of where you are and where you're moving into, and with that comes serenity, and use playfulness in your life. And, you know, from the things that we've learned with our clients and the work that we do is really kind of 5 things to kind of keep on in mind as you're moving from that level of kind of graduating from all the wisdom you've acquired over your life and over the last few years of kind of consciousness rising. Is acceptance. Excuse me, I have a cold, that's why I'm drinking a lot of water. And creating a vision. Setting out a plan,
Yep.
letting go of what your expectations is, letting God or the universe or source or whatever you want to call it, and creating kind of that support network for
And
yourself.
listening to your support system. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, listening. So with that, we wish you a wonderful, wonderful holiday season and a 2014. I guess we'd also like to just welcome you to potentially participate with us in the Awakening Festival that we're
happening in April.
April 5th in around the Montreal area. If you happen to be in Quebec or you want to come here, it's going to be a full day of living through connections, purpose and abundance, and passion
Community,
and joy.
yeah,
Yes.
finding like-minded souls all coming together to create a beautiful world, a better world that we live in.
That's right, and really some tools and ways of helping you to manifest your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and also, if any of you are interested, a little plug here, to have your own reading done for 2014, I offer one of the things I'm doing right now. Actually, Lianne's had hers done, and it was, I think, pretty successful. So, if you're looking to have your own reading done, I can have a session with you and go through, sort of a life mapping plan for the coming year for you, if you like. So,
great.
Get a little bit more insight about what's coming.
Very interesting. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And make sure you express your light in the coming 2014. Our world really needs it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Be your authentic self and shine your light wherever you go.
Awesome. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.